Good evening, everyone. Before starting the presentation, I want to ask you a question. Do you remember the last grade you got in literature lesson? If your answer is no, don't worry. I didn't know either until I checked my prehistoric notes on eSchool. So answer is 71. Anyway, let me introduce myself. I'm Arda Şencan from Department of Political Science and Public Administration. The topic of my talk is two main innovations brought by Tanzimat literature and contributed to Turkish literature. And I have divided my talk into two parts. The first subtitle is the novels, and the second subtitle is the newspapers. Now, I would like to begin by the novels. With the declaration of the Tanzimat Edict, Western civilization began to be taken as an example in order to prevent the total collapse of the state institutions that were already degenerating for many years, and to reshape the state. This westernization movement was of course reflected in Turkish literature. The research conducted by Professor Dr. Uçman at Mimar Sinan Fine Arts University in his article named Literature and Politics After Tanzimat reports that the first novel in Turkish literature has been seen as translation. The former Grand Vizier Yusuf Kamil Pasha translated the novel Telemak, which contains political and moral advices, and it is written by the French writer Fenelon. The website of Türk Edebiyatı states that one of the most important points of Tanzimat literature was the first domestic novel named Taşkı Talat ve Fitnat. So that means love story of Talat and Fitnat, written by Şemseddin Sami. In here, while the arranged marriage is criticized as an Eastern tradition, the true love is glorified by inspiring a Western writer William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. With this feature, the novel Taşkı Talat ve Fitnat is considered as a revolution in Turkish literature. As I mentioned before, Tanzimat literature is the period of firsts in the field of novels. Other examples include the first literary novel İntibah and the first historical novel Cezmi, both were written by Namık Kemal, the first realistic novel Araba Sevdası, so that means Love for Cars, written by Recaizade Mahmut Ekrem son of Recai, and lastly Karabibik, written by Nabizade Nazım son of Nabi, telling about first village life novel. In general, characteristics of the novels of Tanzimat literature are as follows. With the effect of romanticism in the novels given in this period, authors mostly dealt with the social problems as a social reality of the period. Old and new families, institutional order and customs coexist simultaneously in the novels, and since the first examples of novels were given in this period, naturally they were technically quite flawed. Now I would like to expand on the newspapers. Another innovation brought by the Tanzimat literature is the newspapers. Sultan Mahmud II in his period wanted an official newspaper to be published in order to make the state administration's voice heard more effectively within the framework of Western's origin reforms. For this purpose, the press life of Turkish literature started with the Takvim Vekai. That means calendar and representative in 1831. The duty of this newspaper, published by the state, was to explain the actions of the state to the public and to publish the cases recorded by historians daily. However, it has been argued that since the Takvim Vekai is an official newspaper, so it does not give worldwide news. Moreover, the famous Turkish writer Ahmet Hamdi Tanpınar supported this situation with the following words. This newspaper had a narrow horizon because it is an official newspaper. Takvim Vekai, during most of Abdülhamit II period, it was closed in order to prevent the successive defeats of the Ottoman Empire. It resumed its publication life after the Jön Türk Revolution in 1908. Takvim Vekai's, the next name after the establishment of the Republic of Turkey, has been the official gazette. Now that we have seen Takvim Vekai, let me move on to Ceride-i Havadis. events daily. Ceridi Havadis is regarded as the first semi-official Turkish newspaper in Turkish press history, due to the fact that it received a certain amount of aid from the state. The newspaper had a semi-official structure. It was started to be issued in 1840 by British diplomat named William Churchill. Since the newspaper did not attract much attention from the public in the first days of its publication. Articles and poems were later translated from the West. Ottomans gained an idea about the Western world. The newspaper also covered foreign news by means of reporters in foreign countries. Because of this feature, the newspaper was followed by the elite group, and even the first news of death were given in this newspaper. So let me come to the conclusion. The Tanzimat period is the historical period in the 19th century when reforms that deeply affected the Ottoman state structure, social and cultural life were made of the turning points of the Turkish modernization. One of the most prominent features of Tanzimat period is that the change has affected areas such as cultural life, literature, press, and intellectual life beyond the state structure. So let me show you my first visual references here and my written references here. So our presentation is finished here. If you ask question to ask me, I would like to happy answer them. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.